Ever wondered which Hollywood stars couldn't stay sober even on set? You won't believe who made it a habit to drink through their scenes. Hollywood is full of stories, but some of them are more shocking than others. For some actors, life in the spotlight wasn't just about fame. It was about a constant battle with alcohol. In today's video, we're diving into the lives of 20 Hollywood stars who couldn't seem to shake their drinking habits, even while filming. These actors were known for their wild behavior behind the scenes, but what really happened when the cameras were rolling? Stick around as we reveal the shocking truth behind their on-set drinking antics. Number 20. Michael Landon. Did you know that the man behind some of TV's most beloved roles, like Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie, was secretly battling a hidden darkness? Despite his wholesome and respected image, Michael Landon's struggles with alcohol and Valium addiction were far from what fans ever saw. But what really happened when the cameras stopped rolling? Landon was able to blend his addiction into his daily routine so seamlessly that even his closest colleagues were unaware of just how much he was struggling. Imagine Michael Landon, after a long day of filming, heading to the local bar to continue drinking, his secret vice that nobody seemed to notice. Melissa Gilbert, who played his on-screen daughter, later recalled how she never saw his vodka-filled coffee mug coming. How could such a talented actor fade into obscurity at just 54 years old? Number 19. Robert Shaw. The making of Jaws was full of challenges, rough seas, malfunctioning sharks, and difficult colleagues. But what about Robert Shaw's surprising struggle? Despite being a part of one of the biggest blockbusters of all time, Shaw was battling his demons with alcohol. Throughout the grueling filming, he would sneak scotch into the long shooting sessions, causing tension with his co-star, Richard Dreyfuss. Dreyfuss even had to take matters into his own hands, once throwing a glass of alcohol overboard into the ocean. How did Shaw's behavior on set impact the production? And what did he struggle with after the cameras stopped rolling? You won't believe what came next. Number 18. Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed was known for his tough roles in movies like Gladiator and The Three Musketeers. But behind his strong image, he had a serious problem with alcohol. His blue eyes and the scar from a bar fight showed just how wild his life was. Reed was a popular actor, but his drinking habits held him back. Ridley Scott chose him for Gladiator, but made him promise to stay sober. Sadly, after a drinking contest in Malta, Reed died from a heart attack before he finished filming. Reed's only regret? Not having drank at every pub or been with every woman he could. How did someone with so much talent fall so far? Up next is an actor whose career took a surprising turn. Number 17. Dean Martin. Dean Martin, the epitome of cool, once said, "I feel sorry for people who don't drink. When they wake up in the morning, that's as good as they're going to feel all day." While his onstage persona portrayed him as a charming, lovable drunk, his daughter and friends revealed it was all an act. Often, his glass contained nothing more than apple juice. Despite this, his image of suave indulgence became legendary. Though closely associated with alcohol, Martin balanced his public persona with devotion to his family, enjoying just one cocktail with his wife in the evening. He passed away in 1995 at 78, leaving behind a legacy of charm that transcended the bottle. But what about Leonard Nimoy, who struggled with alcohol and smoking? His battles were as intense as the character he portrayed. You won't believe how his journey unfolded. Up next is the story of a star whose alcohol addiction mirrored the pressures of fame. Number 16. Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy, beloved as Mr. Spock, secretly battled alcohol addiction during the Star Trek series. He used alcohol to cope with the intense pressures of fame, with his co-star William Shatner noting that Nimoy used it as a shield against overwhelming stress. What started as occasional drinking soon turned into an addiction. After Star Trek, Nimoy sought help in rehab to confront his issues. Despite overcoming alcohol, it was smoking that ultimately claimed his life at 83. His struggles serve as a reminder that behind every iconic character lies a real human story. What caused this star's battle with addiction? You won't believe what happened next. But up next, we have another actor whose off-screen habits raised eyebrows and caused major tension on set. Number 15. Robert Shaw. The making of Jaws in 1975 was filled with chaos, from aggressive sharks to rough seas, but one issue stood out: Robert Shaw's drinking. Throughout the long filming sessions, Shaw was often drunk, causing tension with his co-star, Richard Dreyfuss. Dreyfuss, frustrated with Shaw's inebriation, even threw a glass of scotch into the ocean during one particularly heated moment. The irony? Shaw's character was supposed to be drunk in one key scene, but perhaps that was the easiest take of them all. Up next is an actor whose career took a tragic turn after reaching the peak of Hollywood fame. Number 14. Jan Michael Vincent. Jan Michael Vincent was a rising star in Hollywood, best known for Airwolf. He had everything: a promising career, good looks, and fame. But all that came crashing down due to his addiction to alcohol and drugs. After earning one of the highest paychecks in TV history for Airwolf, his demons began to surface, causing production delays and eventually the cancellation of the show. His reckless lifestyle led to a car crash, injuries, and even a broken back and lost leg. Vincent's promising career was destroyed by his addiction, and his looks aged prematurely as a result. Up next is an actor whose wild lifestyle and addiction to alcohol ultimately cut his life short. Number 13. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn, the epitome of charm and machismo, was Hollywood's iconic swashbuckler. But behind the scenes, his life was a whirlwind of excess, alcohol, cocaine, and wild parties. He even earned the nickname Cirrhosis by the Sea because of his heavy drinking. Flynn's addiction didn't just affect his personal life. He was known to show up drunk on film sets. His devotion to decadence caught up with him when he collapsed in an elevator, and doctors confirmed his heart and lungs were irreparably damaged. Flynn passed away at just 50, a tragic end for a man who once embodied youthful energy. Number 12. Joan Crawford. Did you know Joan Crawford, Hollywood's glamorous icon, was married to the CEO of PepsiCo and became the company's official ambassador? Her global tours came with some very specific drink requests, including 2/5 of Smirnoff, 1/5 of Old Forester bourbon, 1/5 of Scotch, Beefeater gin, 2 bottles of champagne, and, of course, a case of Pepsi. It's almost fortunate she didn't request Coke. Her role as Pepsi's ambassador had a huge influence on her life off-screen. You won't believe what came next. But up next, we have a story about an actor whose drinking habits went so far, it changed the course of a major film production. Number 11. Elizabeth Taylor. Renowned for her beauty and talent, Elizabeth Taylor struggled with alcoholism and painkiller addiction for years. In 1983, she made headlines as the first celebrity to voluntarily seek treatment at the Betty Ford Center, helping to destigmatize addiction. Her bravery inspired others to seek help and sparked a shift in how addiction was viewed. Freed from her struggles, Taylor became a passionate advocate for AIDS awareness and research, leaving a powerful legacy that went beyond her acting career. Her journey from darkness to hope touched millions, proving that recovery and redemption were possible. Number 10. Cary Grant. Cary Grant, known for his suave demeanor, battled alcoholism in the 1950s and unconventionally sought treatment through psychedelic therapy. His doctor prescribed a new drug that offered him transformative experiences, which Grant even introduced to friends like Judy Balaban. After undergoing around 100 therapy sessions, Grant found peace and lived a contented life until his passing at 82. Alcohol's grip on stars, both then and now, is sobering. It's heartbreaking to see how addiction affects so many. But could the solutions offered today make a difference for those struggling with the same battles? Number 9. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, a legendary performer, was known for his Jack Daniels obsession. Rumor has it he drank a bottle a day, much to his doctor's surprise. When Sinatra drank, his demeanor could shift from charming to aggressive, often leading to confrontations. His ex-wife even locked herself in their room when she saw him drinking gin. Sinatra's iconic drinking was so tied to his life that, in 1998, he was buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels in his casket. You won't believe what came next in his fascinating life. But up next, we'll dive into the story of a Hollywood star whose secret drinking caused massive tension on set. Number 8. Barbara Payton. Barbara Payton was once a rising star in the 1950s, known for her roles alongside big names like James Cagney and Gary Cooper. But her career took a dark turn when alcohol took over her life. Her beauty faded, and she found herself in trouble with the law for public drunkenness. her personal life spiraled, involving affairs, violence, and crime. By the 1960s, her drinking worsened, leading to her losing custody of her child. In 1962, she was arrested for public intoxication, and her life continued to fall apart. Tragically, Barbara Payton died at 39 from heart and liver disease, a heartbreaking end for someone who had once been on top. Up next is a legendary actor whose struggles with alcohol were as famous as his acting. Number 7. John Barrymore. John Barrymore, a member of the famous Barrymore acting family, was once celebrated for his Shakespearean roles. His talent for playing characters struggling with alcohol was chillingly close to home as he battled his addiction. His drinking led to embarrassing moments, even trying to drink his wife's perfume. In 1933, he portrayed a drunken actor in Dinner at 8, and it wasn't long before his career started to unravel. His memory suffered, and he relied on cue cards to finish his roles. Sadly, Barrymore's life and career were cut short by alcoholism, and he died at 60 from alcohol-related complications. Up next is an actor whose story will leave you speechless. Number 6. Richard Burton. Can you believe that at the height of his alcoholism in the 70s, Richard Burton was consuming 2 to 3 bottles of vodka a day? He was infamous for his heavy drinking, even telling a director he would limit himself to just 1 bottle a day, calling it sober if he only drank 2. Despite his struggles, Burton's performance in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, 1966, earned him an Oscar nomination. But alcohol continued to haunt him, even affecting his work on The Klansman, 1974, where he had to film many scenes seated or lying down. After his tumultuous divorce from Elizabeth Taylor, Burton bravely sought rehab, but the damage was done. He died in 1984 from liver cirrhosis and kidney disease at 58. How did his struggles impact his legacy? You won't believe what came next. But up next, we'll reveal the story of an actor whose drinking was so bad it almost derailed an entire film production. Number 5. Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart, often called the greatest male actor in American cinema, was known for his iconic roles in timeless classics. But behind the scenes, his personal life was marked by a serious drinking problem. Close friends shared that after 11:30 p.m., Bogart would transform, becoming furious, stubborn, and even violent. His drinking even affected his professional life, as he often showed up on set hungover or drunk. In one memorable incident, he showed up to sit in his pajamas, riding a bike around Warner Brothers Studios instead of working. His alcohol-fueled lifestyle led to legal issues and health problems, and he died from cancer in 1956 at the age of 57. How did a legendary actor's private struggles affect his career? Up next is a comedy legend whose drinking nearly cut his life short. Number 4. W.C. Fields. W.C. Fields, a legendary comedian known for his distinctive voice and grumpy persona, rose to fame in his mid-50s. However, his drinking spiraled out of control, reportedly consuming 2 quarts of gin every day. His alcoholism caused serious health issues, and Paramount even dropped him from films because of it. After a brief recovery period in the late 1930s, he returned to acting and found radio fame. Unfortunately, Fields died in 1946 at the age of 66, after suffering a gastrointestinal hemorrhage. His story is a tragic reminder of how excessive drinking can destroy even the brightest careers. What happens when alcohol destroys a rising star's potential? Up next, a talented actor's life was marred by tragedy, turning him to alcohol. Number 3. Bernard Lee. Bernard Lee, known for playing M in the James Bond films, had a career that spanned decades. However, his personal life was filled with tragedy, including the loss of his wife in a fire and a violent mugging. These events led him into a battle with alcoholism. Lee's drinking became so severe that he was confined to his dressing room during filming breaks to avoid temptation. His addiction led to a serious health decline, and he died at 73 from stomach cancer, likely caused by years of heavy drinking. How could the loss of a loved one push someone to self-destructive habits? Up next is an actress who found herself trapped by alcohol and lost her career to it. Number 2. Gail Russell. Gail Russell was a beautiful actress who never intended to be famous, but after being discovered by a Paramount executive, her life changed forever. However, her marriage to actor Guy Madison was troubled, and her drinking increased after their divorce. By 1952, Russell's career came to a halt, and she was arrested multiple times for drunk driving. She tried to seek help in a sanitarium, but her struggles continued. In 1961, Russell was found dead in her home, her life taken by the very addiction she fought. She was just 36 years old. How does fame and personal tragedy intertwine? Up next is an iconic actor whose lifelong struggle with alcohol left scars on both his career and his personal life. Number 1. Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy's struggle with alcohol was infamous, with the word alcohol appearing on nearly every page of his biography. His drinking habit was well known, and doctors' records revealed that he would isolate himself in luxurious hotels for drinking binges after finishing a film. Tracy's alcohol abuse caused immense pain, and despite his many attempts to quit, the temptation of booze was always present. His remorse for his behavior was deep, but it didn't stop the downward spiral. Tracy's addiction left a lasting impact on his career and personal life, and he died in 1967 at the age of 67. What do you think? Could these stars have overcome their battles with alcohol if they'd had the right support? Hollywood's hidden struggles are often more intense than the roles they play. If you want to dive deeper into more incredible stories from old Hollywood, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments below. What legend would you like to hear about next? Don't miss out. Hit that bell so you never miss a video.